Hey guys, how's it going? Justin with the Skiff Shop. Here doing some Gelcoat fiberglass repairs. Gonna show y'all a little bit of insight on how we get started with it. It's crucial that you have a light when you're looking for any repairs, cracks or whatnot. Hairline cracks are really hard to find without a light. You know, you look in this ledge, in this little channel right here, you don't see much. You take a light to it. I got a nice crack right here. Help you see little things, little nicks in the gel that need to be addressed. Now these bigger cracks, the ones that are split open, are the ones that really need to be addressed. Little hairline ones, so much like this one, that aren't split too much, as you can see with the light, aren't as bad. It's really important when you Dremel these out to get the crack all the way out. You can see I didn't get all the way to the glass. You can still see the crack in the gel. If you feel that, spray it, the crack's gonna come right back. You need to get down to the glass. Any repair, you need down to the glass. No more crack. For minor repairs, we go ahead and mix some resin paste. We use carbon fiber because it's nice and strong depending on how big the repair is. Longer strands, longer repairs, shorter strands, smaller repairs. Don't need to mix too much of these fibers in because carbon fiber is pretty strong. Usually give it a good mix. You can see in there it gets nice and dark. Fibers are real fine in there. Add some aerosol, give it the consistency we want, make it easier for spreading. Going after a nice creamy peanut butter texture. Add some MEK. Make sure she's nice and mixed up. Make it nice and easy to spread. So with this stuff, when it starts kicking, it shrinks a lot. So you want to build it up nice and we can sand it down. We use it for cracks, minor voids, stuff that, you know, might have to get glassed over, but this stuff's pretty strong for corners. We don't mind if we leave it clumpy and high, because like we said, it shrinks a lot, especially in little cracks like this. That's what sanding is for. And once it kicks, we usually like to take a heat gun to it a few times. Heat it up, let it cool down to help with the post-cure a little bit. Normally when we hit single repairs, couple repairs on a deck that we're not redoing the whole thing, we like to tape it off. That way when we sand, we stay within that area and we're not making divots or making any other bodywork outside of that area. We do a lot of blocking around here. Blocking keeps that nice smooth surface. No whoop-de-doos, no creases. Usually start blocking if it's not built up too high with 120. Takes it down nice without leaving too many big gouges. Nice and smooth. AdTech and all those fillers aren't meant for body work. They're meant to fill. So if there was a big void here, body work got done bad, we'd come back and hit it with more resin paste. AdTech's very brittle. So you just fill pits with it to make a nice smooth spray. What we have here is some AdTech. Need a little bit of hardener, not too much. This stuff kicks in minutes. Gets super hot. Now this stuff shrinks as well once it cures. So, I like to build it up a little bit. Like to hit it with some heat to help it speed up a little bit. Not too much before it's fully kicked though, because it'll get real gummy, mess up the kicking process. So once it's kicked, we like to heat it up and let it cool down a little bit, because all this material usually shrinks. So we like to let it shrink as much as we can before it gets out of here. So now we're just gonna block her down. Now she's ready for prep. I'll always, when I prep a spray, after I've sanded it, come out maybe a ½ inch more than where I had taped off before to help blend it in. We usually prep out in 320. Gel lays nice over it. If we have gel that's a little more thick, we can do 220. Fill in a little nicer. Light is your best friend. Now I'm not too worried about making the skid nice on here, because we're gonna fine line that, spray some of our skid on it. And I'll always come through and hit these edges to make them nice and smooth. Get all the dust off. We always like to roll tape just so that hard edge isn't there. Spray like this, we're not going all crazy with it. We're gonna put a nice flat patch on there, so shouldn't have much overspray. Always want to hit it with some acetone. Make sure she's nice and clean. All right, time for the spray. Add some catalyst, some DDM9. Not too much. Notice if you put too much catalyst, you'll burn the gel after it's buffed. Have a nice gray tint to it that is not good. Good thing with this PPS system, creates a little cartridge up here to where for little sprays you don't have to go all out, put a liner, waste, clean, take so much time. You just pour a little bit in there. That's probably all I'll need for this spray. Get it tuned in. Put a nice flat patch on there. Gel's a little thick, but we'll make it work. That's why we like to roll the tape on the edges. All you need is just enough to get it covered. Like I said, I'm not worried too much about the skid up here because that'll be fine line. That's it. Nice flat patch to get it covered. That, we'll take a block, a hard block with some 800, sand it wet sand it one time, buff it out, and she'll be good. So here's the patch from earlier. We only use carbon, dry guide here. Dike them, just too messy. Start off with some 800. Key to a nice patch is a nice hard block. Just a piece of phenolic that we have here, shaped it into a nice sanding block. Usually like to start off working the edges first. Water helps keep the grit at 800. Eliminates all the dirt and gel that's coming off. Add a little bit of Dawn dish soap too. Helps it stay clean. So I'm not concerned about up here because that's going to be fine line. And we're spraying skid on it. You see, every time I squirt the water, it starts sanding again because it gets all the debris off of it. Wrap the block around, make a nice edge. It's all about working that patch line off. That's what you really see. And I'll come through and hit the edge. You'd be amazed at the indentions you see from your fingers or from cutting too deep, using too high of a grit. You see every little imperfection. Then I'll hit it with carbon one more time. Finish it off with some 1000. She'll buff out nice. It's always good to come back and hit the corners with your fingers. If not, there'll be jagged edges. Gelcoat's awesome because you can sand dirt out of it. Now she's ready to be buffed. It just dries up. It doesn't leave a wax residue everywhere. We've encountered, you know, you buff this over here and there's compound over there. Got to be hit it easy with the angle grinder because that high RPM will make the gel halo or burn it. Really shows all the scratches and if there's a patch line or any pits or anything that you don't want in there. You can buff out 600 scratches, DAs, 800's a lot easier, but 1000 really puts a nice polish to it. The lower the RPM when you're buffing, the more it'll cut. Well, thanks again, guys, for watching. Justin, Skiff Shop. We got lots of work here. Every day, something new. Big projects like this. But this was a small little patch, you know, a little chip on the corner. I filled with resin paste. Took some of the polyester resin that they have from Fiberglass, Florida, mixed it up with some carbon fiber strands, cut it up, mixed some aerosol into it to give it that nice putty texture that we like. Smoothed it on there, let it cure. Filled the voids with some white resin Adtech, also fiberglass. Heated it up a couple times with the heat gun to help the post cure. Sprayed a patch onto it, let it kick for about 3 hours, came back, block sanded it with a hard block with some 800 wet sand, followed by 1000, buffed it out. It's good as new. Thanks again.